yo, this is your boy DD in the closet. It's New Year, new closet. Closet got some more lighting, got new lighting in the closet. Yeah, what do you think about that? It's so great. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Today I'm drinking an IPA from Oscar Blues. They do an IPA well, they do in the blue, but I did a little Boilermaker, so there might be a little Irish whiskey in here. Anyway, today I want to talk to you about something I find real fun. That's treasure hunts. We all see the videos about doing a mysteries all over the frickin' place. But let's talk about treasure hunts because I think they're more fun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. If I had a theme song, this is where it would go. So, running a treasure hunt, what do we do to make this a special session? What can we do to make sure this is a freaking memorable event? And what I say you should do, break the fourth wall of the. Does that apply? Get your players involved. Get them out of their seats. Get them using their hands. Get them using their own minds. Don't let them rely on their character stats. Get them going and use their characters as the hint givers. If they get stuck, have them do a roll. Have them do a roll. So I like to make these as interactive as possible. Props, puzzles, things they can put in their hands, solve, different items that make it almost more immersive when they go from place to place. So you can think of this almost like kind of an escape room-esque ordeal, what I like to do. Physical papers they have in their hands where they're reading letters. I like to do location appropriate props. If you're in the tavern, maybe you have a beer, maybe you have a bottle of whiskey, maybe you have a stein or something like that. If you're in the museum, maybe you have some artifacts they can play with. And if they're seeing letters, have the letter in front of them. Give them something there. And if the letter's hiding something, which it should be, the letter should never just be like a letter. It should all in a treasure hunt, the letter has to bring you somewhere. Otherwise, you'll have angry players. So some of the things I've done in the past with the ciphers, if you will, or puzzles, there are different gimmicks you can do. So there's the invisible ink, the old lemon juice trick. It's pretty sloppy though. Usually when you stop writing, it looks like a child wrote the letter. But it works. It works when you apply heat. The other thing I like to do is if you use an erasable pen, and you know the way the ink erases, because the eraser causes enough heat with the friction that it will go away. The ink is still there, it just, I don't know the exact science behind it, but it goes away. And if you get it really, really cold, it will come back. So you can do a fun little thing with that. You write out a letter in the erasable pen, except for the message you want your players to see. You write that in a regular pen, and if they figure out that they need to apply heat to it, you get a little lighter and through it, it will erase all the erasable pen, and it'll leave you with the message underneath the message, if you will. You could do the opposite, where you could have the erasable pen ink, you could have already erased it, and you give it to them after heating the paper, and then they have to cool it down to see the message. But they have to get it really cold. Like, you have to use like one of those spray air cans upside down, which is dangerous. So only if you're a professional air can sprayer, if you have a license to spray air upside down. So there are things that are fun you can do like that. There's also just kind of, the ciphers in the text, like all the random capital letters, they spell out something. Each line has a certain number of words. You find another clue which tells you line and word and letter in the word, and then do it that way. All sorts of things you can do. There are other puzzles, like there's a lot of coin puzzles, little games, little mini games you can do. You can go on YouTube, there are tons. You just type in coin puzzles or coin riddles, and they're little interactive things. You get little coins, and it's very easy to do. There are also some with stones and other things that are fun. You can have You can easily put them together. You don't need to go buy a lot of supplies. But it's a pretty fun. It's pretty rewarding. My dog is barking, but it's okay. You might say, "Is that a dog?" It's like, yes, that is a dog. It sounds like sneakers on a basketball court, but that is a dog. In fact, I am not outside a basketball court. So yeah, interactive. And we were talking about props for the different areas, specific things like the beer and the tavern or something like that. One time I did a whiskey bottle. It was empty. The whiskey was gone. Took the label off. Filled it with with water and then red and green food coloring. So they're opposite, so they cancel each other out, causes really opaque water. Put my own label on it, but on the back of the label, to the bottle side, I wrote a message. And you can only see it if you either drank the bottle or poured it out, or you shone a light from the bottom up. And that's what they ended up doing. So they were able to use this prop and figure out what they were doing. And they don't have to be difficult. It's just when you get the stuff in the player's hands, they are immediately more engaged. You won't see a phone in anyone's hand. It is much more rewarding. So that was a little bit about like the physical things you can do with people. You can go as far as like actually make an escape room. You can just bring the props and stuff to the table. You can have locks. You can have like wood puzzles and stuff, though don't frustrate people with things that are too hard. You should know if something's going to take them more than 20 minutes. I think that's a problem. So yeah, your physical things. You can get the players out of their seats, or you can out of their character sheets, out of their seats and out of the character sheets. So that's that. Also, give your players a map. Next item, maps. Treasure hunts are nothing without maps. It keeps them from having their characters say, "Do I know this place? Do they know the area?" And roll knowledge local or whatever it is for 5 who knows. But by doing this, you're able to get all the information that the players need in their hands. So you make a map of the local area. Keep it small. Keep treasure hunts small. Don't do globe-trotting treasure hunts. Keep it maybe city at biggest. I usually keep it town or smaller. Or if in a city, maybe like just downtown cities. Like just keep the map manageable. Make sure it doesn't take a day and a half for them to get to one point to the other. When you get your maps, have the different locations on it. Have your different clues reference the locations. Make them have to study it. Get immersed in the area. And then when certain things come, they go, "Oh, I remember this place. They mentioned this over here, and that's where we need to go next." So yeah, maps are fun. Also, have someone opposing the party. It doesn't have to be the same person the whole time, but mix battle in, or make battle a consequence of not solving something. So you can have riddle or like something where if they don't get it right, they go the wrong way, and they encounter foes, enemies, but then they eventually get on track. You should never make them fail to the point of like impossibility. So when you have these encounters, you can make them also you can make them very anxiety filled. you can give your players a lot of energy, a lot of urgency to what they're doing. You can say, "Oh, you come to this door. Here's the riddle to open this door." Give them the riddle or puzzle, whatever. Then you start a timer, and it's like you hear the pitter-patter of feet behind you because they're being chased by small dogs. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. And so they're being chased by the dogs. Then you have some players, they're engaged in real time with the door, and they can't partake in the battle without like severe penalties. And at the other time, you have the players defending off the little dogs, so their comrades can open the door. So you have maybe 3 engaged in battle and 2 working on the door, and don't let them do both. And if they try to do both, make them pay for it. Those people like, "I can do everything." if they want to do the puzzle, they leave the battle and they go do the puzzle. If they want to do the battle, they leave the puzzle and go to the battle. So I think it is an interesting way to use combat to push their progress forward, or to well, it's a way to fail forward. So if they get something wrong, they end up having it. If they don't get through the door in time, they end up having the battle. But then they always move forward, assuming they can do the puzzle. And if they can't do the puzzle, you pick too hard of a puzzle, or it doesn't make any sense. Now, when it comes to the puzzles themselves, I recommend you get inspiration, but do not lift word for word anything from anything you read, because if you can find it, your players might have found it. And depending on, if you type in D&D riddles and you find what's there, let me tell you from experience, they're going to know the riddles. So make up your own. You know where the plot's going. You know the answer. Work backwards. So if you need them to know to go to the mountain, and the answer is mountain, so he's like, what kind of riddle can I do to get to the mountain? It's like, well, the snow is in summer and the summer's in snow, something like that. So you can make up your own riddle to get them to the same place, because you know what the answer is. You don't need to find a riddle with an answer and then fit your quest or your treasure hunt into the answer of another riddle. Do it the opposite way. And don't worry about things being too easy. My experience is things are never as easy. They're never as easy as you assume. Sometimes they surprise you and get it right off the bat with something you think that's going to take them a while. Just go with it. Honestly, it might be a little more fun to have many things that are not as difficult, but are kind of like little fun things. Like, it didn't take them too long to find the words on the back of that bottle, but they really enjoyed that. One time I actually broke the fourth wall even more. I'm using that term really badly, but I had one time they came into this room. They were in this weird chamber, and it was laid out for a feast. And on the table there were rings, like where drinks had been set, basically. And because these drinks were set in different ways, they had different colored rings. And so what I had done is I'd taken a poster board, drew out like a table, like planks and everything, and then I took coffee cups, dipped them in coffee. I'm sorry. I took beer bottles, dipped them in coffee, and then rubbed them in a particular order. Then, as a way to kind of obfuscate what was going on, I took wine glasses, dipped them in a little wine, and made little wine ringlets. I use coffee because the coffee actually stains a color. The beer will not stain a color. I mean, look at the color of this. Not exactly what I had in mind. So what I did, as soon as I got into this room, I went and I got them all beers out of the fridge. And I opened them. I was like, here's a beer, here's a beer, here's a beer. And they're all sitting there having a beer. And then suddenly it dawns on them, like, do these rings correlate to, like, are we supposed to, like, put our beers on the thing? And then they figure, it's the brown ring. We all have beers, so it's probably the brown. Let's all put our beer bottles on the brown rings. And when they did so, it formed an arrow. The arrow was pointing to me, and on me were numbers on my shirt, which is what they had to get to the next room. And so that was kind of taking it out of the immersion just a little bit, but where they were, it was kind of this funky, like, between planes worlds that a silver dragon was kind of leading them on. So it kind of worked in the style. So you do what you're comfortable with, but I strongly suggest, if you're doing a treasure hunt, to get your players involved, get them up and about, have them cuddle over, props and all these things, and go crazy with it. I mean, there's really nothing too stupid. Well, I mean, there's a few things too stupid, but you'd be surprised what is entertaining, what they will get a lot of joy out of doing. And I find it one of the more rewarding sessions as a DM when I put in a lot of work for them to kind of experience like another game on top, within the game. And if you can put in good plot all the time, all the while rather, that's even better for you. So yeah, so that's a little bit about treasure hunts, things that I like. I like them more than mysteries. Mysteries, everyone does a video on mysteries. I'm not going to do a video on, well, I won't say that. I'll probably end up doing a video on mysteries. But I find treasure hunts are more fun because the players feel a little more empowered, or like they can do it, whereas a mystery is like, who done it? I hope we don't screw this up. Or the treasure hunt isn't as thwarted by magic as the mystery can be. Speak with dead. Oh, who killed you? Oh, he did. It's like, oh, okay. So I find, and also they're getting something out of the treasure hunt. It's a treasure hunt. So either be it a dragon's hoard, a special item, weapons, anything like that. It can be a much better session than a mystery where they have to talk to a bunch of people and blah 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 blah. The treasure hunt is like they really don't have to talk to anyone. I mean, they probably will, but you don't have the same amount of work for them to verbally go through. And also mysteries tend to be geared toward just the person who's the most talkative in the group anyway. So the people who are more hands-on or more battle-oriented. Oh, this is another thing. People who are more battle-oriented will be more into the puzzles. I found that. So it's a fun way to be more engaging with everyone. And I think it's worth a shot. So if you like this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Tell me what you like in the comments about this new closet. It's bigger. It's a walkthrough. So it's hard to even call it a closet because like that whole side is open to the bedroom. There's a door here to the ensuite. And yeah, there's a lot of closets. Got some new lights, new closet. It's a fun time here with DD in the closet. Alright guys, have a good one.